The difference between content that attracts poor quality clients and your perfect clients comes down to 6 critical things. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can write the right sort of content to attract the right sort of clients. And this is the exact playbook that I have used as it stands to drive over 130 million worth of pipeline for over 100 plus B2B companies on LinkedIn. If you don't know me already, my name is Luke Shalom. I help to build founder-led pipelines for founders on LinkedIn. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can go and subscribe from the button sound about here. So what is the difference between content that attracts poor quality clients and the content that attracts the right clients? The first one, as it stands, is rich clients, poor clients. It's targeting, right? And what do we mean by targeting? Targeting in the sense of poor clients or people on LinkedIn who are writing content is not getting the right people. They're writing for everybody, absolutely everybody. They're saying, hey, look, they're pasting some engagement bait on LinkedIn. They're saying, hey, here's how I write these scripts to go viral. Here's 10 leadership cheat sheets that are going to magically blow up your business. It is content written for everybody, so it's never going to get in front of the right sort of people. Now, the guys on LinkedIn, the agency owners who are attracting rich clients as it stands, their content is focused onto ICP. And it sounds so simple, right? But so few people truly commit to focusing their content on here because they're too busy getting the benefits of all the engagement and the impressions. And to go onto this will be a big shock. Now, in order to do this, it's pretty simple. You just want to call out your ideal client persona in your hooks. For example, some of mine would be, my ideal client persona is agency owners between 1 to 5 million in revenue who might have tried some stuff in the past on LinkedIn, who rely on referrals, who are looking to scale without headcount, right? So I'd say, hey, agency owners 1 to 5 million who rely on referrals, this is for you. So that's just an idea of pulling a strand on content and making sure that is focused. The second one is perspective. The guy who's attracting poor quality clients on LinkedIn either has a generic point of view or he's got a point of view that doesn't exist. Like he's just literally posting how-to content. Now, do you see the problem with this, guys? Because everybody does this. And maybe the thing that you're probably saying now is, if you're pulling content with the opinions of ChatGPT, right, on the internet, what does AI actually give us? It gives us the fucking median, the mediocrity of what everybody thinks about a topic. And if everybody's using that, how could you ever attract a high value client who's looking for a new way to think about how to solve their problem? Impossible. Or how to, I could find this on the front page of Google. What is the difference between the agency owner's content who attracts the right rich sort of clients? Really simple. It is about having a POV, a point of view. This is the reason why a wealthy, ideal client will buy from you. These guys are a dime dozen. They know that their problem requires specific expertise to solve their problem. They want to think differently about why their problem exists, how they could potentially solve it. They also want to see it potentially as a new opportunity and not more of the same shit that they've seen all the time. And the way that you get this in your content is by really locking yourself away in a room and meditating and reflecting on what it actually is that you want to take a stance on in your niche. What do I believe, right? Which is, potentially broken about my industry. I'm sure you could think of a few things as an agency owner. Like for me, it's like the way that people use AI outbound is pretty cooked, and it's meaning that everybody's burning their target market. What's the reason for that brokenness? That's another question you've got to ask yourself. And for me, it's like the reason why the market is cooked is because everybody thinks they can slam an easy button with AI, and everybody, because tools are now cheaper, everybody can apply it. And because everybody can apply it, that means that the standard has gradually slipped. So I'm sure you can think about why it's broken. Now, the next piece here to map a POV that actually sets you above everybody else on LinkedIn posting the same generic ChatGPT slop and building your POV that really makes you that category of one is, what is the new way? Your wealthy buyers want to be educated on a new way to think about the way that they could solve their problem. So for example, I don't know, if you're a product development house and everybody's used to shopping out clients, they usually go for like one client maybe or one developer on site. But your way is actually, you've decided that maybe it's not about adding more developers, maybe it's more about understanding the strategy of how to leverage the resources you've got in-house. So that's old way versus new way. Now the next piece here is, how is your solution architected as the new way? And it's so simple. So if your solution is architected as the new way, and we want to take that same product development idea of like, okay, body shopping people into developer projects versus, as it stands, I don't know, helping people to use more of the desire and demand that they've got in-house, then you just want to really provide some sort of framework for them to be able to do that. Again, see how different this is from creating just content, like how to provide product development clients, versus the reason why your projects are failing is because you keep trying to hire developers when the true value is kept in-house. That's actually fucking up the amount of time that it's taking for you to ramp your projects. Again, POV. Attracts rich clients, attracts poor do-it-yourselfers. So the next piece here is another really interesting one. It is the language that we use in our content. And here's what I mean by this. One of my old clients said to me, he said, you will be basically put onto the person that you sound like. So if I come on a call, right, with the VP of sales and I sound like I really should be speaking to a lower level manager, where do you think the conversation is going to end up? I'm going to end up speaking to lower level management because I can't speak to the level of the problems and the way that they talk at the executive suite. And the same thing happens with content. So it's really about, these guys will use language for everyone because they're like, oh, I can't possibly use niche language. You know, like what if, Luke, you know, like people don't understand that on LinkedIn. And you know, like better to be simple over clever. Yeah, that's right. That's a marketing fundamental, but it's not about that. It's about using niche specific language that your prospects use. Because if you use niche specific language your prospects use, what does that tell your prospect? It tells your prospect, right, that you understand their world and their profile. And who do you think wins? The person who speaks for everybody and looks kind of generic and looks like he kind of knows what he's talking about, or the guy that is literally talking in the terms of the language, the certain like phrases, the terminology that they're using in boardrooms and in their day-to-day. The next piece here is that a lot of people take off is, look, on rich side or poor side, you could do all of these things completely right and still not attract high quality clients. And this is something that took me many, many years to understand, because the way in which people make decisions, fundamentally, it is emotional. And then we back up with logic. And poor clients, what content that attracts poor clients is just logical. Hey, I've got this thing, I've got this process, here's a widget, here's how I can see that it works. Great, objectively, I understand how it works, but you look the same as everybody else out there doing this on LinkedIn. What does the guy who's creating content that attracts the right rich B2B clients, or clients that are willing and able to afford their service, do? They know that human beings make decisions based on emotion, and they back up with logic. They don't forget the logic and the mechanism. They know that that is the bridge to take them from where they are right now, the shitty predicted future, to where they want to go and what their goals are, the shitty current future, the shitty current state of affairs, and their desired state. They understand that, but they dial up the emotion, and they do that by having an innate understanding of how these clients talk about their problems in their exact words. They feed back, you know, as it stands, like actual stories from the sales calls. For example, I have a lot of conversations every day with business owners where the real reasons why they want a marketing system in their business is so they don't have to lay off staff. It's so they don't have to lay in bed at night wondering where their next client is coming from. It's all about capturing the conversation going on in the customer's head and making it as clear as possible. And the final piece, like that I've seen over the years from working with over 100 plus founders on their B2B content to help them to attract the right sort of clients and driving over about $1.3 million for myself from LinkedIn in the last 2 years, has been this single thing with content. It is how well does your content create an emotional gap? And these guys, the guys that create poor content, they've got no concept of what this even is. You'll read it and you'll read every single piece of content from the guy struggling on LinkedIn on the struggle bus going, hey buddy, I can't get any leads. And I'm like, they don't even know what an emotional gap is. But the rich guys, the guys who attract the rich clients, meaning this, it's the same in sales, it's the same in content. Every single person, if you want to get somebody to convert in content or in sales, you have to create an emotional gap as it stands. And what this looks like is pretty simple. This is, and I'm going to just rub this out, this is a gap between their shitty current state, which means, you know, like, I don't know, like we're a business owner at the moment as it stands. Their current state is can't get the right leads, business is failing, might have to fire team members, versus their ideal state. Like this is like their dream reality, right? Dream reality. Content that attracts rich B2B clients does this effectively in every single piece of content. You need to be painting out to them why their current state exists. What happens if they continue to have this current state? The cost of inaction, really twist that knife in the content. But what you've got to do is you've got to set it against where they want to be. And if you don't create, this is the gap. You don't create that gap, your content will never convert. These guys don't even know what the hell that is. But the people that are really getting the right sort of clients, they innately understand this and they engineer everything they do on LinkedIn around creating that gap. It doesn't matter if it's a top of funnel post with industry trends. It doesn't matter if it's a middle of funnel post where you're showing them a framework. It doesn't matter if it's a bottom of funnel sales post where you're selling to them. Create a gap. Create a gap. Those are all of the 6 things that the people that attract rich clients, well, he's gone now, the people that attract rich clients do in order to drive the right B2B clients on LinkedIn. And these are all the things that you should stop doing immediately today in order for you to get the right people in your pipeline. My name is Luke Shalom. I help founders to build predictable founder-led engines on LinkedIn. If you really enjoyed this video, you can go and subscribe on YouTube. And if you're following on LinkedIn right now, make sure to reshare this video. If you would like more information on what it actually looks like to build a founder-led system to drive predictable pipeline, you can check out the link in the description on this video to have a chat of how our team could potentially help. Take care.